Now time for the 7 things you'll be talking about today. Number 7.
Because the Kamala Harris campaign for president literally has one thing going for it, they're not Donald Trump, they have to drive that point home at every opportunity and lie about stuff that Donald Trump is doing. For example, Project 2025. They have sent 21 misleading tweets in the last week plus. And even though Donald Trump said, hey, I don't know anything about this. I don't want to know anything about this. I've got my own agenda. It's not Project 2025. He said that 10 days ago. The media and the Democrats are still fixated on this policy paper and are lying via misleading headlines that the plan will cut Social Security, ban abortions nationwide without exception, ban contraceptives, give tax cuts to the 1%, raise the retirement raise drug prices, ban books, punish single mothers, and other lies meant to scare uninformed voters are everywhere, and it doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon.
Number
Weird.
6.
A vast majority of voters cannot name real accomplishments by Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, it might be a little weird here, but I think I was on top of this before anyone else, talking about how this woman had 0 accomplishments. And now, that's kind of working its way into the conversation. 70% of those polled cannot name a single thing Kamala Harris has ever done. 70%! That means there are people out there who are going, I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris. It's like, what has she done? I don't know. Frank Luntz did the polling, and when he was asked, he said this, 3.5 years, can you name just one? 70% can't name anything. And by the way, the things that they do name, the ones that try, are generally just lies. Crime rate's down. Inflation's lower. Immigration's lower. None of it's true. Weird.
Number 5.
Another library, this time in Clay, Alabama, gets its legs cut off because some people in and outside the state of Alabama are pushing degeneracy on children. It's called the Harris Campaign for President. And that has led to some foolish decision-making by city manager Ronnie Dixon, who suggested the purchase of a Christian book means all sorts of religious books must be purchased, or quote-unquote watchers, end quote, will get mad. So the Clay City Council voted to withdraw its local library from the Alabama Public Library Service after the dispute over the alleged new book purchasing policy brought about by the purchase of an innocuous book about 15 Bible heroes. Fear of watchdog groups like Read Freely Alabama targeting the library, and the response to the national attention brought about by the hyper-LGBTQ focus of some libraries. So they've screwed themselves once again. Weird.
Number 4.
Alabama Secretary of State Wes Allen is calling out the League of Women Voters, a pretend nonpartisan organization, which it is not. It's not. Please stop. Stop with this. Like, if it's a left-wing group, we say it's nonpartisan. If it's a right-wing group, we say it's far right. Can we just? This is a partisan group. Stop it. Okay, stop it. By the way, this is another reason why women shouldn't even have the right to vote. Anyway, the League of Women Voters, what are they doing? Well, they're using their website to cull information from you. So if you go to their website and you try to get down the path to register to vote, they take your data. They take your data, and then they send you to the Secretary of State's website. So they take your data, and then they forward you on to the Secretary of State's website. So they're saying, don't go there. If you want to register to vote, just go to the Secretary of State's website and use it that way. Wes Allen says the site's collecting your personal data, such as IP address and contact information, before sending you where you need to go. Weird.
Number 3.
Yellow Hammer News founder and former director of message strategy for the Trump White House, Cliff Sims, is highlighting how vulnerable Kamala Harris is, the current vice president of the United States, on crime. Now, he said this: she is consistently on the side of criminals, not on the side of law enforcement, and not on the side of law and order, and laid out all these cases. He also would praise former President Donald Trump's running mate, United States Senator J.D. Vance out of Ohio, and highlight his appeal to voters in key states like Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, emphasizing his relatability and effectiveness as a communicator which is one of the reasons why they're sort of out there trying to frame him as weird, because they can't actually go after his message. So they're trying to convince you that what he's saying is strange. So that in itself, I know you heard this, but that's weird.
Number 2.
The national GOP is targeting AL-02 here in the great state of Alabama by labeling Republican candidate Caroline Dobson a quote-unquote young gun, marking Alabama's 2nd congressional district as a key race for the GOP. This shows both parties are heavily investing in the race, highlighting its significance in the fight for control of the House in the upcoming November election. The National Republican Congressional Committee is providing support and mentorship to Dobson, who is running against Democratic candidate Shamari Figures. Now, this race is going to heat up, and I have a feeling it's going to get particularly nasty, mostly because the media markets it's in, relatively cheap. Meaning you can buy a lot of ads. And when you buy a lot of ads, you can say a lot of things. And if you can say a lot of things, you can say a lot of mean things. Some people might call that weird.
Now, time for the number 1 thing you'll be talking about today.
Google and Facebook are engaging in election interference. There's no other way to put it. That's a stone cold fact that both entities have basically admitted to without admitting to it. They're not saying, yes, we're engaging in election interference, but this is the number 1 story because I'm going to tell you this right now. Every person I know is on Facebook. I know maybe one person that's not on Facebook. His name's Grant. Other than that, every other person I know is on Facebook. And everyone uses Google. So this is the number 1 story because if these guys are playing with their search algorithms and things like this in a dishonest way, that is going to have an impact. Google's autocomplete function refuses to deliver results on the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump, and Google's like, "Well, we didn't do anything. Oh, we're not doing anything." More people are searching for the attempted assassination of Harry Truman. What are you crazy? You guys are nuts. And a search for the candidate where you type in Donald Trump brings up Kamala Harris news. So you're trying to tell you they're still not doing anything wrong. Meanwhile, Facebook says they mistakenly censored a photo of former President Donald Trump with a raised fist following his assassination attempt. Meta spokesperson Danny Lever confirmed the error, explaining it was confused with a doctored image showing smiling Secret Service agents. I don't know if you've seen that photo because they're like, oh, it's all fake. And, they're smiling. Look at them smiling. That was sort of the way they tried to frame this thing, which was weird. And I just don't think that is a fair and accurate thing for them to do. So here's what they're doing. There are people inside these entities that are manually playing. And that's what they're doing. And it's got to be called out because it will have an impact. This is not something that is just people playing with their platform. This is what's happening. Now, can Google and Facebook do this? I guess, if they want to, but they could be called out for it as well. So that's what's happening here. And that's a pretty important thing to see because, like I said, everyone uses these things. Whether you think they're stupid or wrong or whatever, it doesn't matter. Everyone uses them in some way, shape, or form. They're powerful. That's why it's the number 1 story. Now, if you'd like to jump in here, you may absolutely do so. QC Connect's free speech phone lines. Yes, you can get in there right now at 866-494-WVNN. You can also text me. Get your questions in for 10 with him on the scoutpestcontrol.com WVNN hot take text line right there, 866-494-WVNN, and email me.
You've got mail.
Dale at WVNN.com. That's the Downtown Rescue Mission.org email inbox. You can obviously jump in right there, but don't jump into my backyard because I got a great fence. You can't get in. Yep, fence 1. If you don't have a fence 1, put up a fence around your house. What are you going to do? You're just going to let your neighbors come in? Well, what about the animals in your community? You going to let them come in? And maybe have coyotes or bears or, I don't know, elephants. And they, elephants won't smash through your fence if you get one from Fence One. Don't take my word on that one. Fence1.net, they can help you out. And they can help you build your fence. They can make your fence look better. And if you have a deck, they can take a look at that as well. If you want to get that tightened up, if you want to get it, stained, all those things, they're going to take care of that for you. They are great at what they do, and I'm glad I had them come out and take a look at my deck. I was a little worried about the state it was in. They did a great job. So decks, fences, they're on top of it. They can build a fence. They can repair a fence. They can stain a fence. They can repair your deck. They can stain your deck. They can do it all. Go to fence1.net. Check them out today. When you do, you better tell them Dale Jackson sent you.
Get WVNN's Dale Jackson's 7 Things You Should Be Talking About Today right in your email box every morning. Go to yellowhammernews.com and sign up today.